Alright, so I'm not sure what side this came off of, but yeah, this is my last installment of making my anvil. So I just cut this piece off, third piece to cut off, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, it came off of this side. And then the other two pieces, that's in the previous video. Go back and watch them if you want to see what it looks like. But it looks like one piece off to here, about that size, and then a triangular piece that I cut off big up here. Yeah, so I needed it to be rectangular, so I cut this piece off. And you can see where they actually cut it with a plasma torch. They probably use a plasma torch to cut it off. Yeah, so I cut through with the hacksaw up until here, and then that portion is different because I hit it with the sledgehammer to get it off. A lot less dangerous to leave a little piece and hit it with the sledgehammer off than it is to hacksaw it through and fall and hit your foot. But yeah, whatever. So I'm going to now that it's rectangular, I gotta clean up the edges. So this edge isn't even, so I'm gonna try and even it up. Then I have to file off these corners, and I'll just try and true them up so that they're like actual corners. But these corners, I'll just file them down so that all these edges will have to be rounded off, is what I'm trying to say. And then all this will have to be trued up because yeah, it's been plasma cut by a torch. So I'm going to try and flatten that out the best I can and get rid of all this rust in it off of it, and get it to a pretty much level surface, and then I'll round off the edges. I have to round off all the edges, but yeah, so I'll have to flatten all these out, all the edges out, and then these edges right here that are sharp, I'm gonna have to round those off. But yeah, this will be these two longer edges will be the worst part because the hacksaw cut on this was really bad. So I'm going to go back and try and flatten out the best I can. It's going to take off a lot of material, but that's alright because I don't need a whole bunch of material to work with. And like most people say, oh, you gotta have like an inch thick to a 2-inch thick plate of metal to do blacksmithing, but a half-inch is plenty enough, especially since I'm not going to be like doing blacksmithing like other people would, where they're making like 1,000 knives a year and stuff like that. So yeah, this will work until I can get a bigger plate steel. But yeah, I'm not going to go out and buy anything. I'm just going to take metal that I find and use that, whether it be to make a sword, knife, or a body armor or whatever. It's going to be out of reclaimed metal that I find magnet fishing. So yeah, if I find a thick enough piece that is big enough, then I'll use it as my new anvil, maybe, possibly. But yeah, I want to find a big enough piece and thick enough that I can make my plate of armor. I guess you call it plate of armor. But yeah, my body armor, the front plate and the back plate. But I'll have to find two comparable pieces. One will be smaller than the other one, obviously, because the back's not going to be quite as big. I'm going to have it extending up, so like it would protect you from getting stabbed through your back into your heart, so it has to be at the level of your heart. And then I'm going to probably make it shorter and stop shorter than it would in the front, because yeah, I want to not restrict movement, and yeah, it's not gonna cover your complete body, but yeah, it'll still be good enough that it'll protect your main organs like your lungs and your heart and that. So yeah, but eventually after I make the prototype, then I'll get it machined in AR-500 steel so it can be bulletproof too, and not up to high rounds like a 50 BMG and stuff like that. But yeah, so this is a half-inch thick. Let me show you. This side will look better. Half-inch thick, half-inch thick, and it's probably about I would say between 1.5 feet and 2 feet long. I don't have my tape measure on hand, but it's less than 1 foot long. It's just under 12 inches long, but it doesn't have to be the longest. Even if it was 7 inches long, I could still work on it, because yeah, you just move it on as you're blacksmithing it. You don't have to have it all on, your material all on it at the same time. If you look at the surface of a normal anvil, it's not as long as like a sword, but yet people still make swords on them, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, this is just my makeshift anvil, so it doesn't exactly have to be the biggest or the best. It just has to be good enough that I can blacksmith on it, and get good enough to blacksmith that I can make my martial arts knives and swords, so that I can start doing classes, because I know how to knife fight and sword fight. So yeah, that'll be good once I can get into doing those classes. So I'll try and get into a dojo, but if I'm not able to, then I'll do my own classes, but I'll make people sign waivers if they're my own classes, that I'm not held liable if people get injured, because, you know, I'm not going to have insurance myself, so if I get injured, you know, it's my own responsibility anyways. So yeah, I'm going to file this up. I'm going to do some of it tomorrow. I don't know if I'll finish. We'll get at it and we'll see if I finish it tomorrow, but it'll probably be way too much work to finish tomorrow. But I'll bring you back and show you if I finish at least one of these sides, preferably this one. I'm going to work on this one, try and get that chewed up, and then if I get that chewed up flat enough, then I'll work on this plasma cut side and get that chewed up flat, and then I'll work on these, because there isn't much to do on those, so I'll work on those last. And then after I do those last, then I'll go ahead and do the rounding off of the edges of it. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's not going to be nearly as bad as it was hacksaw through it. So yeah, this is my hacksaw I used. It's a Stanley and Stanley blades. So yeah, the blades are really great on it too. They last very long and they cut through very good. So yeah, didn't take a whole bunch of them to do it. And it comes with this. When you buy the big one, it comes with the small one. So I had to use this in this midsection from like here to here, because the bar, this bar right here on the hacksaw, prevents you from going the full way with it. But I was able to get it done. It just took a lot longer to do this one, because there's only that much surface area to cut with, and it's made for cutting like screws and stuff in like hard to reach places. It's not made to cut through something like this. This is made to cut through anything you want. But yeah, so yeah, that was the hardest cut out of the whole thing. And I could have came over here and cut this bit off, but I was like, I'll just file it down the best I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. This anvil doesn't have to be perfect. If I wanted it perfect, I would have got it machine cut. But yeah, whatever. I'm not going to pay to get it machine cut. It's not what I'm going to do. But yeah, so when I get to Indiana pretty soon, I'll be magnet fishing, and when I find stuff magnet fishing, I'll use it if it's good quality enough for blacksmithing. And so everything I sell will be cheaper than my competition, because it'll all be reclaimed metal. So yeah, Uh, I'll probably do $25 knives, even though I'll be putting like $50 to $100 worth of work into the knife. It's just I'm not going to be paying for supplies except for the rope. So, I mean, I just want to, sell the stuff. So $25 would be good enough. I might do more depending on what quality it is. But at first, it'll be $25. But then as I get better, I'll raise it up to like 35 to 50. But yeah. You guys will have to pay for shipping when it's 25, but if I'm charging 50 for it, for my knives, my practice knives, then I won't charge shipping and handling for that. I'll pay for it myself. So I'll only be making like $35 to $40 on it anyways. Maybe 30, yeah, but whatever. So yeah, it shouldn't be more than $20 to ship a knife. But the swords in that, they'll be more expensive, anywhere from like $200 to $500, depending on the length, the weight, the time it goes into making the swords. But my swords will all be practice swords, which means they won't be sharpened. They'll be made for martial arts, but they'll be made in a way that it's not like a bokken. It'll be actual steel, so you'll get used to the weight of like a real sword, so that when you pick up a real sword, you'll be able to wield it and be good and everything like that. But if you're just used to a bokken, a real sword's going to be too heavy for you, and you're not going to be able to do the same movements and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a good, niche. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, but whatever. I'm going to be the only one who's making swords like that for martial arts. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to sell quite a few of them. So, that's what I'm going to be doing for money until I get a job. Just making stuff and selling it. And, yeah, but the whole reason why I'm going to do that and not just go looking out for a job right away is because I want to be able to take the time to write my books. I wrote one book, but I gotta go back and edit it because spell checker messed me up, and some of the words aren't the words that they're meant and supposed to be. So I gotta go back and change them and check each word via dictionary. So it's time consuming, but yeah, it won't take too much longer, and then I'll get that book edited. And then I got another book to edit that's already written. And then my third book, I want to write it. It's going to be a zombie book. But I'll have to start from the beginning. I had already started writing it, but I trashed it because it just wasn't the quality I wanted. So, yeah. But I learned a lot out of writing the first one. So, I'll be able to go back and write a good zombie book. But my zombie book isn't going to be like a normal zombie book either, so it'll be worth your while to pay for it if you want. And they'll be really cheap off of Amazon. I'll publish through Amazon so you can get like the digital copies and stuff like that. But yeah, this was supposed to be my making an Anvil update part 3. So yeah, I cut this piece off. So there we go. And again, it was a triangle, so the big piece got cut off and this piece got cut off, but it's raining, so I'm not going to go out and grab the other two pieces, because I have them in my shed in totes to keep them from getting wet, and that in with all the other scrap metal I have that I'm going to turn in pretty soon. So yeah, but that's besides the point. Oh yeah, if you see these tools in the background, I'm going to clean those up. Yeah, but I don't know how well I'm going to clean them up, but I want to at least clean them up, even though that they're not mine. I'm just going to do it just because I can. But yeah, whatever. They were left out in my shed and they got destroyed, so I'm going to fix them. This one needs to be sanded. This needs to be sanded. That needs to be sanded. Then this needs to be beveled out and then sharpened. So I'll do that. I'll hit it with the file and bevel it out. But I'm not going to do that until after I finish my anvil, because that's going to be a priority. And yeah, I might go fishing again. I might do fishing poles before I leave. Maybe, possibly, if I have enough time. It all depends on if I get my stuff done that I need to before I leave. Because I'm leaving Halloween. It might be a little bit sooner, but I'm probably going to leave Halloween Day, the 31st, to Indiana. So yeah, I need to make sure that I can get all my stuff done and squared away before I think about going regular fishing or magnet fishing one last time. And I haven't decided. I might do one each one last time. But yeah, I really want to do my magnet fishing lure challenge. But if I can't do it here, then yeah, I'll do it in Indiana. I don't really care if I catch big mouth, small mouth, or whatever. I'm not a person that goes out and hunts a particular fish. I just like catching all fish. So yeah, and I don't care if they're big or small. I like catching all fish. So yeah, I think it's just fun to catch fish, period, no matter what size they are. And like these YouTubers are like, oh, I'm after chasing big fish and that. It's like, who cares about if it's a big fish or not? You know, and the only time that it matters if it's a big fish that you caught is if it's a world record. So yeah, if it's not a world record, then don't worry about it. If it's a big fish or not, they're all the same. And the only difference between a big fish and a small fish is if it's big enough to be a world record. So yeah, if it's not a world record, then you know it's nothing to get all worked up about. But yeah, it's just fun to catch any size fish, honestly. It would be more fun if you caught an actual big fish, which would be a world record. And I've seen a world record fish before in a lake that I fish, but nobody's caught it. And I haven't caught it, and it would be highly unlikely to be caught. So yeah, it's probably already dead by now, I would think, because it was a long time ago. It was decades ago, or well, let's see, a decade and a half ago. It would have been about 2 decades ago, if not a little bit more than 2 decades ago. So yeah, that fish is probably gone by now. But if there's one fish that big in there that long ago, there's probably more that are that size there. And it was like anywhere from 30 to 50 pound largemouth bass, and it engulfed I would say like a 5-pound bait fish. It was a big bait fish, and it just swallowed it up like it was nothing. I don't know what type of fish it was. It might have been like a brim or something. I'm not too sure about fish like that. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, I'm happy to get that done. And then I'll be even more happy when I get it completely finished and filed off. So yeah, I'll see you YouTube when I finish this filing. I don't know if I'll bring you back when I finish the full filing, but I'll bring you back when I finish at least one filing. Alright, see you.